Hi there, my name's Paulie and welcome to Does Wood Affect Electric Guitar Tone Part 5. In this episode we're going to talk about the blind A/B test and my thoughts and feelings on the subject and the results that I personally got from that blind A/B test. Also, you can check out the view. This is actually a spot, very nearly a spot actually. Just down there is where I shot a music video about 3 years ago, and I thought I'd come back to do this video. So I guess you want the answers to the blind A/B test. Well, here they are. So what were the results of that blind A/B test? Well, out of the 170 or so people that have viewed it in the last week or so, the majority of them didn't even comment. And I don't know whether they were, thinking that it was some sort of hoax or a joke, or they couldn't be bothered, or, they had their mind made up, or they were worried about getting their pride hurt or something if they got it wrong, or that I'd, make an example out of them if they got it wrong. I don't know, but that's not my intention, My intention is not to embarrass anybody except myself, for the most part. So, I don't know why they didn't comment, but I got a small group of comments that I ran with. And as far as the results go, it turned out that about 56% of the time everybody was right. Now in a 50-50 test like that was, because there was 50% of each, you would think that 56% is not much of a result, particularly when there's only, 8 participants. So as far as statistical noise is concerned, 56% is still within the statistical noise range, which means that the A/B test is still inconclusive. But for me personally, I didn't do the test because I knew the answers, but I listened to all of those clips back to back, and sometimes I thought, okay, that one sounds like it's slightly louder in the mids, and then I'd listen to the next track and it sounded exactly the same. And that's me listening straight off the software, straight off Cubase, out of the computer. So there's none of this compression and crap that YouTube supposedly does. So where does that leave me? Well, I think that wood, or the material, as far as the body and the neck material, other than frets and bridge and nut and all that other stuff, I think that body and neck material makes no perceivable difference to the tone of an electric guitar. That means I can't say that it makes a measurable difference. It could make a measurable difference, but it makes no perceivable difference to the human ear. I mean, and if it does, right, just say the wood that an electric guitar is made out of makes this much difference to tone out of, this much. Well, by the time you plug an 18-foot lead into that guitar and plug that into your pedals, then plug another cable in and plug that into your amp, all of those things are going to colour the tone more than what that wood does. So if we're arguing about something that is this big when everything else makes more difference, what the hell are we doing? Honestly, it's just ridiculous. I mean, how much difference do you want it to make? I mean, if it makes even the tiniest difference, like just say 10% of people can hear a difference in electric guitar tone. Well, no, we won't make that people. We'll make 10% of guitarists, because most people aren't going to have as an astute ear as what a professional musician might have, say. So we'll say amongst professional musicians that are guitarists, we'll say that 10% of them can hear a difference. And you know, and we'll say, for example, it's not, but say, for example, it's proven. Okay? So if we plug all of that gear in, are they going to hear a difference after all of that's plugged into it? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You know? By the time it gets plugged into everything, you stick an SM57 in front of it, which colours the tone. It goes through the cable into the mixing desk or into your recording equipment or whatever that they have in the studio. The engineer, he twiddles about and changes everything. Any difference there is just going to be completely and utterly gone. Nobody's going to be able to tell. I can't believe that wood actually does make a perceivable effect to electric guitar tone. And when I came to that conclusion that night, the night after I finished the video, and I was sitting down listening to those clips straight off the computer, I was kind of dumbfounded. So it turns out that Scott's right, and I'm sorry, Scott, for upsetting you that day with that first video I did over a year ago. You know, because to me at that point I felt that wood did affect electric guitar tone, or probably did, and that experiment that I did wasn't to set out to prove that wood affected tone. It was more to say that it was plausible. The same with the experiment with the tuning fork and the microphone. It was more to indicate that it was plausible, not an ironclad guarantee at all. It was just to say that yes, it possibly could. But after this blind A/B test, I'm convinced that it doesn't. You know, well, not perceivably anyway. There could be some tiny, tiny effect that somebody will pick up, you know, with a very sensitive spectrum analyzer, and you know, and the affirmatives will win. You know, the people who say that wood does affect electric guitar tone, they'll win in some kind of hell-bent way. But for all intensive purposes, makes no perceivable difference. Wood makes no difference to electric guitar tone that I can detect, and that most other people can probably detect. It's just the way it is. It's just how it is. If you don't believe me, do an A/B test for yourself. Go and get yourself a plexiglass guitar, and you know, a guitar made out of some other material like wood, for example. You know, I picked a light ash and a plexiglass guitar. The light ash, it was extremely light. You know, it was probably one of the lightest Strats I've ever owned. And the plexiglass, without a doubt, is the heaviest guitar I have. You know, I've got a Strat that's 9.1 pounds, and that thing's heavier than it is, for sure. So, yeah, where does that leave us? Well, I'm sure everybody's going to argue and bitch and complain about what I'm saying and everything that I've done. And to be honest, I've tried to tread a line somewhere between saying it does and it doesn't. And I still am. You know, I said it makes no perceivable difference to me, and probably not to most people, if they're honest with themselves. And that's what it comes down to. You know, if you have a bias towards one or the other, then you'll come to the conclusion. But I was slightly biased towards wood affecting tone, and that A/B test has brought me way back to the other side. So, yeah, there you have it. So Duncan, well done, mate. You're on the money. And Scott, again, good job. You got it right again, bro. And, yeah. So I guess all that's left to do now is all of the bitching and fighting and crap like that that goes on, and is already going on. As I've seen, I've kept a close eye on everything that's going on, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but there's some shit slinging going on, no doubt. And I'm sure that I'll get dragged into it one way or another, but as I said earlier, you know, I'm not here to embarrass anybody, and I'm not going to embarrass anybody. I do a good enough job at embarrassing myself, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy to have it that way. So anyway, I'll leave you with the view. I'm going to go for a bit of a walk, and till we meet again in the next video. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.